Good evening, students. Now we are going to discuss about hardware and software. Already we started the discussion with software concepts. So what is a software? Software is a set of programs. So what is a program? A program is set of instructions which are constructed by any programming language. And here we are going to continue our discussion, and we have seen what is the software classified into system software and application software. System software is basically required for making a device into alive. So that means in order to function the device, what we require, operating system is required, and that is also considered as system software. And application software, whenever you want to perform particular task, the task relevant activity related software or the program is considered as application software. And here the computer, what is the computer? It can compute the things. Computing in the sense calculation. So the calculation here we are going to be performed to perform the task. And in case of calculations, what we are going to use? Arithmetic operations and logical operations. Already I told you, suppose we are going to give the input as data, and what we are going to get? The output as information. What is data? What is information? Data is the raw form of material, and information is the useful data. Useful data. So for example, I will tell you wood log. What is a wood log? A raw form of material, right? So generally wood log cannot be used directly. How can we use the wood log? If it is converted into a bench or chair, then we can use it for sitting. Yes or no? So here wood log is the data and the bench is the information. So information in the sense useful data. So that useful data in the sense that can be used for our purpose. Clear? So that we are able to achieve with the help of a device called computer. And here if you look at this data, capturing the data, manipulating the data, output results, and we are going to get the information. See this. So data will be captured and it will be manipulated, and finally we are going to get the output results. Then it is going to convert it into information. And next, characteristics of computers. Why we are going to use the computers? Already we had a discussion about the purpose of using computer. So it is automatic, the process which we are going to be perform manually. So that means manual indication is only human being is involved to perform the task. So that is manual. Instead of human being, if the human being is going to be supported with the help of a device called computer, then that is treated as automation or automatic. And the speed is very high, accuracy is going to be improved, and diligence, versatility, memory, no IQ, no feelings, power of remembering. So these are all the things which are going to be influence or which are going to be support to use the computers. Okay. And then next, evolution of computers. I already told you the evolution tells about the generations. So what are the earlier computers? So first generation computers to modern generation computers. So in case of first generation computer, what we have observed, just the size of the computer is very high and the computation capabilities are very less. But nowadays what we are going to see, the size of the computer is very less and the computation capability is very high. Clear? And here you need to remember one particular person name, that is Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage. He is the person who is the father of modern digital computers. So he invented the computer. So Charles Babbage is the father of modern digital computers. He designed difference engine. So what we call analytical engine, that means it can perform the analyzation. In the same way, difference engine in the sense it is able to find out the difference between two entities or whatever you want to assess. So in the year of 1822, and fully analytical engine is going to be developed in 1842 after 20 years of time. So by performing basic arithmetic functions. Already told you computer is also known as analytical engine. Analytical engine, that means it can perform the analyzation. So before going to perform the analyzation, it is going to perform difference. Already told you what is the difference. Suppose present data is going to be compared with previous data. so that we are able to predict the future data. Is it or not? So here present data is going to be compared with past data. So this is we are going to find out the differences between past data and present data. So this why it is difference engine. Okay, and so this is the first computer, Mark 1 computer, 1937 to 44. Then Anderson Berry computer, then ENIAC, EDVAC, EDSAC, Manchester Mart, UNIVAC 1, 1951 lo we got UNIVAC, universal vacuum based computers are going to be utilized in 1968. And coming to the computer languages. So what is a language? Language is used to communicate. So general languages like English is used to English, Telugu, Hindi, Marathi. So these are the languages which are going to be used for human beings to communicate each other. In the same way, in order to communicate with machine, what you have to use? Computer languages we have used. So here the computer languages are categorized into three types: machine language, assembly language, high level language. Machine language, assembly language, high level language. So if you consider machine language, already told you machine can understand only two states. What are the two states? One is on state, another one is off state. Okay, otherwise true, false, otherwise present, absent. Okay, so like this it is going to identify only two states. So for this purpose what we are going to use? Binary system. What is a binary? Binary in the sense there are only two digits, one is 0 and another one is 1. Here we are going to use 1 is the representation for on and 0 is the representation for off. Okay, and using zeros and ones we are going to write the instructions. Such language is machine language. The machine can understand only machine language. Okay, so here opcode and operand. Operand in the sense it is a variable or a character which is going to be assigned with the operator. What is operator? Operator is a symbol which can perform some operation, right? So here opcode is going to tell the computer what function to perform. Suppose plus. What is a plus? It is an opcode. So what is opcode? It is going to specify the operation which is going to be performed. What is the operation? It can perform addition. In order to perform the addition, it is going to send a signal with plus. What is a plus? Plus is an opcode for addition operation. So here it tells the computer what function to perform. That is opcode. And what is operand? A plus B. So here A is an operand. So why? Because it is going to be used with the operator. Okay. So this is operand. We can discuss about the variables and symbols in further coming classes. As of now, what you can remember, if any character which is going to be associated with a symbol, that will be treated as operand. Okay, so that much knowledge is enough now itself, and in further coming classes we will discuss in detailed way about the operand and opcodes using the logical using the types of operators. And every computer has set of operation code instructions. And here the types of instructions are arithmetic operations, logical operations, branch operations, data movement operations, and data movement operations for moving the data between the input devices and output devices. So arithmetic operations are what kind of operations? In order to perform the arithmetic operations. What are the arithmetic operations? Plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus. What are these? These are all the arithmetic operations, right? We people are very familiar with the arithmetic operations. We can easily perform the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus operations, right? And coming to logical operation, what is logical operations? I hope you have knowledge on logical operations. Logical AND, logical OR, logical NOT. What is logical AND? True, true, true. And true, false, 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 true, false, truth table, and false, false, again false. See, if both the input values are true, then only the result is true, otherwise false. What is this? Logical AND. Logical AND. In the same way, logical OR. What is the logical OR? If both the inputs are false, then only false, otherwise true. True, false, true, false, true, true, false, sorry, true, true, true. So any one of the input is true, then the output is true, otherwise false. That is the logical AND OR. And branch operations, branch in the sense dividing. So conditionals, whenever we are going to impose the conditions, then we are going to use the branch operations. Whenever we require to move the data from memory to registers or input devices to output devices, these two takes place, data movement. Okay, these are the different types of instructions which we are going to be see while performing the task. And the disadvantage of machine language is machine dependent and difficult to program. Why? Because only 0 and 1, two characters are there. Using these two characters only we need to write the instructions. It is if the character set size is very high, then we can easily write the instructions. If the character set size is very less, then it is difficult to write the program. Yes or no? And error prone, difficult to modify. It can be executed very fast. Why it is executed very fast? Because it is a machine instruction. If it is a machine instruction, machine can understand easily, so that machine can perform the task with less amount of time. And assembly language, a language that allows use of letters, symbols instead of numbers, that is assembly language. So in case of assembly language, what we are going to use, symbols we are going to be used, and it is also known as, another name for assembly language is symbolic language or symbolic program. So here we are going to use symbols, like in order to add two numbers, what we are going to use, add A, B. A is one value, B is another value. With the add instruction, what we are going to give a statement, addition of these two values. So such add, sup, so such symbols we are going to use in case of assembly language. If it is machine language, only zeros and ones, but if in case of assembly language, we are going to improve the character set by adding the symbols. And here we are going to have one assembler. What is the role of assembler? Assembler is going to convert the or translate the assembly language instructions into machine language instructions. What it is going to do? It is going to translate the assembly language into machine language. Why? Because here the translator is required, because machine can understand only machine language, right? But whenever you are going to use the assembly language instructions must be translated into machine instructions. So that is taken care by the assembler. And see here, assembly language program is going to be given as an input to the assembler, so that we are going to get the machine language program. And that this is assembly language program is the source program, and after converting the machine program into assembly language program into machine, that will be treated as object program. Remember, these two words are very important. One is source and another one is object. So if the source is whatever the instructions we have prepared, that will be the source. And whenever we are going to transform into machine understandable format, that will be the object. Once it is converted into the object, then the machine can accept the input so that it can execute the things. Execution in the sense, it is going to generate the results. It is going to generate the results. Right. What are the advantages? Easy to understand. Why? Because here we are going to use some symbols, so we can easily understand. We can easily locate and correct the errors. Easily modifiable. So these are the advantages, and the disadvantages is machine dependent, obviously, and knowledge of hardware is required. Machine level coding, that means in order to convert the assembly language instructions into again machine instructions, it takes time consuming and very difficult. And these are high level language. So what we have discussed, machine language, assembly language, high level language. So high level language is in the sense here the programmer is going to write the instructions using English words and familiar mathematical symbols, expressions. That means much convenience for the programmer. Convenience in terms of the character set is very high, so that he can use the symbols, he can use the sentences, he can frame his own instructions like English, so that he is getting much convenience and feasibility to write the instructions, right? And here what we require in order to convert such high level language instructions into machine language, we need again a program called compiler. So just like assembler, what is assembler? Assembler converts the assembly language instructions into machine instruction, and here the compiler is going to convert the high level language instructions into machine language instructions. Why? Because the machine can understand only machine language instructions. Yes or no? So this is about high level language, and see this program high level language, compiler for language 1, then we are going to get the machine code, compiler for language 2, and it is going to get the machine code. So we are going to get some syntactical errors whenever we are going to use the program high level programming language. So here we are going to write some statements. While framing the statements, what we are going to face, illegal characters if you are going to use, then it raises an error, and we need to follow the syntax and semantics. Here you need to remember one word: syntax, semantics. What is syntax? Syntax is the structure. Whatever the structure we are going to follow, as it is, we need to follow it. Okay, otherwise it gives an error. It leads to get errors. What is semantics? Rules. Semantics in the sense rules. We need to follow some rules. Okay, so while framing the statements or instructions, what you need to follow? The structure of the language and the rules of the language. Then only you can give proper input to the computer. See this is a kind of a flow chart. In next coming classes we are going to discuss about algorithm and flow charts. So these are the two problem solving methods. Already told you, whenever the problem is given to you, problem in the sense task, what you are going to do here, you are going to perform the task. How you are going to perform the task? With the support of machine called computer. So in order to utilize the computer, what you are going to do, you are interacting with the computer. In what way you are interacting? With using software. What is software? Programming instructions, right? And here we need to start the program, edit the program, compile the program, that means converting the program, and if any syntax errors detected, then we are going to generate list of coded error messages. Then again you need to compile the program. So edit the program, then compile the program, then if any errors, again the process is going to be repeated. If there are no errors, then it is going to generate the object program. What is object program? It is a machine understandable format so that it can accept the input. So we are going to get the output results. Then the process is going to be stopped. Clear? Just once again I am going to repeat this process. See there, we are beginning the process and edit the program. Why we are going to edit? Editing in the sense we are writing the source program. The programmer is going to use the high level language, and using the high level language he is going to prepare the source program. That will be compiled. That means we need to convert the source program into object code. How can we get the object code? By compilation. What is the compilation? It is the process of compiler. What the compiler is going to do? It can convert or translate the high level language instructions into machine level language instructions. And in case of this, if any syntax errors occurs, what you have to do? You need to correct the program again and again compile it until you need to get the 0 errors. So after getting no errors, then what you can do? You can generate the object program. Clear? So this is the process, and the advantages are it is machine independent, easy to learn, fewer errors in program development, lower program preparation cost, better documentation, easy to maintain. So these are all the advantages of high level language. And the execution efficiency is very low, flexibility to control the computer, CPU and registers, less flexibility. So these are the two disadvantages which we are going to be faced with the high level languages. And here what we are going to use, a translator is required. What is a translator? Translator converts the source code into object code, right? Source code into object code can be converted with the help of translator. Suppose if it is assembly language, what is the translator? Assembler. If it is high level language, what is the translator? Compiler, right? So compiler is again, it is a program which is used to convert the high level language instructions into machine code. And Assembler is assembly language instructions into machine language. And here interpreter is a new term which is going to be play the role of translator again. Here also it is also used to convert the high level language instructions into machine level language instructions. But the difference between compiler and interpreter is compiler compiles entire program at once. Suppose the program consists of 100 instructions. The compiler converts all the 100 instructions at once into object code. But in case of interpreter, it will convert the source code instruction one by one. First instruction machine code, then second, then third, then fourth, so on 100. So that is the way of translation which we can observe with the interpreter. High level language input, interpreter translate statement by statement, one by one instruction. Output again we are going to get the object code. Okay. And intermediate language, compiler and interpreter. So compiler compiles the entire program at once, and this interpreter converts one by one after another instruction. So here you can find the differences between the compiler and interpreter. And features of good programming language. So simplicity, naturalness, abstraction, efficiency, structured programming support. So simplicity in the sense, what is mean by simplicity? The programming instructions must be simpler, then only the user can understand easily. If the programming instructions are much complex, then it is difficult to follow that language. And it should be near to the whatever the syntax is, structure and rules which are near to the general language like English. Okay, so that we can easily frame the sentences. That is the naturalness. And abstraction, so it has to hide the implementation details. So that means we need to use much functions. If the function gives convenience for the user, so that functions in the sense, suppose addition of two numbers, what you need to use, plus sign is going to be used. What is a plus? Arithmetic operation. So here whenever you are going to use the arithmetic operations, addition, it is going to add any two numbers. Here we are not going to define the function for plus. If you are using the plus, then it performs addition. So automatically, so this is a predefined function, right? So such things we are going to use in abstraction. Efficiency, so the efficiency must be good. If the system is efficiently performs the task, then only we are going to use it, otherwise we cannot use it, right? And structured programming support, so we need to follow particular structure. So if the program is having particular structure, then it is easy to frame the instruction, then the user can get clarity. So how to write the program, easily can follow and easily can write the programs. And compactness, that means the program should be, the sizes should be less. And locality, so that means the programmer language should be such that while writing a programmer need not jump around visually as prepares the text of the program. So it should be local, all the instructions must be within the same program itself. Extensibility, so the feature extensibility supports whenever the existing functionalities are not sufficient for performing the task, then there should be a provision for extending the functions. And it should be suitable for all kind of programming language, all kind of operating system, then only the programming language can be accepted by everyone, so it will get popular. So that's it, what we have discussed. In the today's class, we started the discussion with software. What is the software? What are the classifications in the software? Then we came to know about what is the difference between software and hardware. And then we started the discussion with computer languages. And we have seen machine language, assembly language, high level language. And here the important terminology is the role of translator. And what is compiler, what is interpreter, what is assembler, that we have a discussion. And what are the features of good programming language, that also we have seen. That's it, this is the today's class, and we will come up with the next class.